Hello there, Pisces. Welcome to your January 2017 tarot reading. I've used a different layout, and I'm going to go over the cards so that you can understand how the new layout works. And I feel that it is important to do this, especially at the beginning of the year, so that it sets the tone for the rest of the months going into 2017. This is going to help us identify and narrow down like the exact areas that in our lives that might need some work, so that we can work towards making, positive changes. Okay, so this is I feel like it's going to be helpful to do for the rest of this for the new year. So I'm going to go over the cards, and I'm also going to be doing a love reading for you guys after this spread, okay? So this is pretty much the natal chart wheel. It reflects like the 12 houses of the natal chart. And each house, there are 12 cards here for 12 houses. I pulled out a card for each house. Each house represents one sector of your life. So we're going to go into the spread, and I'll explain it in a way where it's digestible, okay? The first house deals with the way that you project your energy into your environment. So the energy that you're embodying and how other people see you. So the first card here is the Queen of Swords. This is your energy. And the Queen of Swords, this is somebody that is very decisive. For example, she knows what she wants. She or he knows what they want. And they're able to, strategize and have a game plan in order to be able to achieve their objective. When you're showing up in the reverse position, it basically indicates to me a situation where you're feeling a little bit stuck, you're feeling a little bit unsure, and you're not really sure how you should proceed. So I feel like a lot of you are entering 2017 with a little bit of a topsy-turvy type of energy. On the one hand, you want to implement new changes and to steer your life in a very positive direction. You want to move ahead and you want to forge a new path for yourself. On the other hand, there are situations surrounding your environment that's not allowing you to do so. And this is a card about, thinking about the past, demanding answers from the past, wanting some type of a finality, some type of a either closure from a past situation. So something from, November and December that might have really stirred you up, and you're trying to, cut off those cords of attachment, but you're still somewhat not able to do that. So it feels a little bit frustrating for some of you, and I do feel that the overall theme of this card is urging you to think about things and do some type of a strategic planning for the year ahead, so that you can be able to achieve the goals that you want, and you can, affect outcome within certain areas where you have control over. As it pertains to other people, you might not have control over what they're doing, what their motives are, what their objectives are. But this is more about, drawing back your energy, figuring out where you are headed, what you are trying to achieve, and putting down a realistic course of action or a realistic game plan so that you can move forward, okay? I do feel a lot of you are demanding answers from something or somebody that from the past, and you're not able to get the closure that you have, at the closing of 2016. So you're still kind of stuck mentally in that space from the past, and you're not able to get that closure you need to move on. In your second house, we have the Two of Swords, and the second house deals with your money and your value system. So the Two of Swords is waiting on a decision as it pertains to money, financial, windfall, financial outcome. So this is like waiting on a result from another, like a decision that is made by another person, or a decision that is made regarding your financial situation, waiting for a raise, waiting for a promotion, thinking about shifting jobs and not really sure whether or not you should grab new opportunities as they come in. And as it pertains to your values, this is a card about, being drawing back your energy and figuring out who you are and how what you value. So don't get sidetracked or don't get swayed by other people because they're bringing you either an emotional argument or even a rational argument. These things might make sense the way they're logically presented to you, but if your gut instincts tell you that, there is something more to the argument, I do feel it's time for you to withdraw and figure out where you stand rather than being persuaded by either an emotional or even a rational argument. I feel for many of you, as it pertains to your financial situation, things are there might be a lot of like structural changes within your work environment. and you're not really sure if you should stay or if you should like continue to move forward to a different work environment. So I do feel some type of ebb and flow, some type of fluctuation and uncertainty as it pertains to the viability of your job or the stability of your job long term. So you're doing some, I feel, serious reassessment to figure out if it's still worth staying in this environment, okay? Third house deals with communication, and it deals with siblings as well. Let me talk about your communication first, mainly because the heavy theme for this month is effective communication, how you present your arguments, how you communicate with others, how you get your point across, as well as how you can figure out a game plan so that you can be able to either persuade other people to get on board with you or to present yourself in a way where you can be persuasive to other people. In the third house, we have the Hierophant in the reverse position. The Hierophant in the reverse position basically indicates a situation where people are not, as it pertains to your specific communication style. I feel like there might be some communication problems. It's sort of like telling a story and there isn't like a beginning, a middle, and end. So they're urging you to like go back to the source, figure out things in a chronological, in a logical progression before you talk about, before you describe a situation or before you talk about how, cause and effect. So they're telling you not to jump to conclusion. Go back to the source, identify, which event happened first, what happened second. So it's basically telling you to do things in a more traditional, in a little bit more of a structured way, just so that you can understand all the pieces of the puzzle, so that by doing so, you will then be able to answer, be able to get answers to the bigger picture, to be able to see the bigger picture. So the advice here is, say what you need to say, communicate in a way that makes sense to the other people, and understand that maybe people need a lot more, I want to say like proof before they can jump on board and be on the bandwagon with you. So simplify your communication style, okay? And I guess like having a layout, having a little bit of a game plan when it comes to communication is going to be a lot better in your favor. The Hierophant indicates some type of institution as well, and as it falls in your third house, the third house deals with siblings. So I feel that a lot of you might be in situations where there might be some type of dysfunction within the household environment that you grew up in. There might have been some type of non-traditional family. So, I do feel foster care system. I do feel dealing with somebody in your family that might pertain to like children, foster care systems, child protective services, and things like that. And you might even be working in this capacity, or you're going to be communicating heavily with people that are working in that capacity, okay? So it deals heavily with institutions. I do feel that, child protective services coming to mind. I feel like also a lot of you might have grown up in an environment where there might have been like blended families, or there might have been like either people who might have been adopted, who might have been fostered. There might have been like, some type of situation where you have a sibling, but you find out they might not be blood related to you. So something like that. It's not always going to be that dramatic for everybody, but I feel like there's some type of a non-traditional vibe as it pertains to the environment and the siblings that you deal with. The fourth house here is the Hermit in the reverse, and the fourth house deals with your family life, the family that you grew up with, and the family that you're hoping to create for yourself. And it also deals with the mother. We do have the Hermit in the reverse position. Now, the Hermit in the reverse position basically indicates a situation where we're looking at things from a, I want to say like the advice they're giving you is try to look at this situation from a high-minded, from a more forgiving perspective as well. The home environment that many of you might have grown up in, I feel that it might have felt very, either like very lonely, or there might not have been a lot of love and affection showered upon you. I feel like a lot of you had expectations growing up, like, parental expectations, social pressure, even family pressure to be a certain way, to get into a certain career track, or, to be like the savior for everybody else, like, to be able to take care of your family when they get older, or parents when they get older, or you might have been the one that everybody counted on. Everyone like thought you were going to be a specific way. And I feel that you are debunking all of their, or exceeding or debunking their expectations of you. So this is a month in which, you are grappling with what people are expecting of you, as well as what you feel you should do for yourself. And I would say stick to your guns. You are a water sign. And I feel like a lot of the times too, you do bend over backwards to please other people at your detriment. So this is coming into this new year. It's a year to reclaim your power, to like come out of your shell and to assert yourself into, the environment that you're in, to come into that sense of empowerment. So it's really important to be true to ourselves and to realize, it's to be true to ourselves and to realize that other people's expectations of us, it's not always appropriate. Okay. So getting back to the root of who you are, getting back to the root of like, whatever childhood situations you haven't been you haven't dealt with adequately, I feel that it's going to be beneficial for you to heal that. I do sense some type of dysfunction within the family unit that you grew up in. For example, I feel like some of you might have had like a mother figure that passed away when you were a very young child. And you didn't grow up with that feminine, I guess that feminine ideal within the family. So what I mean is, you might have grown up in, if you are a woman, a female watching this, you might have grown up in a very masculine environment where people value money, success, status, like the traditional public image. And I feel that, the nurturing side, the emotional rapport that you have with other people, they might have been undervalued, underplayed in favor of more like success, status, prestige. So this is just something coming through for re-examination for this month, and it would be a good idea to try to rectify this situation and to figure, withdraw your energy a little bit and figure out what is it that you value, because I feel that you're hugely influenced by your environment growing up, and you might not have a very strong sense of like, what do I want as an individual? So we need to be a little bit careful here. Once again, I feel that a lot of you are easily influenced by the environment that you grew up in, and easily influenced by other people around you. So having a strong sense of self needs to happen first. Otherwise, we lose ourselves when we interact with other people. Okay, so for good or bad, but it's usually a negative thing. So just something to be careful about. Okay. Fifth house deals with fun, recreation, and creativity. We have here the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles, I usually think of this as, money-making endeavors, like small-scale, low-key types of creative activities that you can do if you're the creative type that can generate money for you. So I usually think of this as somebody who works with their hands. They can be they can be making jewelry. They can be making purses. They do some type of creative activity with their hands. I do see like more visual arts, or even more like arts and crafts. So drawing, singing, even music. Drawing, singing, music, and I'm also seeing like people making things out of nothing in order to sell them. So a lot of you might be turning a creative project into an income generating endeavor. And I do feel money is going to start trickling in for you in that manner. So I do sense it's going to be a very, very good thing for you to do. As it relates to romance as well. With the Page of Pentacles, this is an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. I feel that a lot of you, if you are single and, out on or even coupled up, there's a lot of dates coming through. There's a lot of people coming into either solicit you to go out on a date, or they are bringing opportunities to go out and socialize. And I feel that, little gifts and trinkets for those who are coupled up and attached. Little gifts and trinkets that will make you feel quite good and stable about your relationship. If you are dealing with this person in a dating, social dating type of environment, this is somebody who's definitely interested in you. They have a lot to offer. They are very reliable, and I do feel like they put you on a pedestal, okay? Earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. If you're casually dating this person, I feel that there's a lot of going out, having fun, doing creative activities as well with this person. And I do feel for some of you, this might be your own child that you're doing some type of creative endeavor with. And then for others, it's somebody that you are, romantically involved with, socially, lightly dating this person. In your sixth house, we have the sixth house deals with health. It deals with work. And it also deals with your daily routine, your daily activities, okay? We have the moon in the reverse position. So first of all, it's really important for you all to get a lot of sleep, okay? So I do see this, transient energy, staying up very, very late at night, having your sleep schedule disturbed either because of noise or either because of something in your environment that's not allowing you to get restful sleep. Okay, so I do see as well, this is a health situation, and with the moon, it indicates some type of a respiratory, either respiratory situation like asthma. I do see having allergic reactions, and I do see something about, dry skin, breaking out in hives. So, moisturizing, these basic maintenance things such as moisturizing, but I do see allergic reactions. I do feel as well weakened immune system overall where, allergies or allergens that might not have affected you in the past are now kicking up, okay? So being careful, taking, proper antihistamine and things like that, or at least, keep yourself very moisturized and very lubricated through the winter months. For those of you who are living in the northern hemisphere, this is going to be something important as it pertains to your health. I do see respiratory situation too, asthma, and I do feel asthma, and I do feel allergic reactions, okay? Not being able to breathe well, sinus infections, congestion, and things like that. I do see the nasal passages. I do see the throat as well with this card. So just be careful about that. In terms of your work environment, and this is going to tie in with something a little bit later. So I'm just going to mention it right now and go back to it in a little bit. There is some reshuffling in your work environment, I'm feeling. I feel that November and December, there might have been a lot of things that were up in the air regarding, if you're working for a company, for example, there might have been situations where there might have been mergers, there might have been a large droves of people leaving the work environment and a bunch of new people coming through. There might have been some shuffling as it pertains to the leadership in the work environment, and I feel that you're waiting for the dust to settle. There might have been a lot of new revelations coming through where you're trying to figure out do I continue to stay? Why is everybody leaving? If everybody's leaving, should I leave as well? Is something going to happen to the company? So I feel like if that energy came through for November and December, it is a really important time for you to just wait things out, wait for the dust to settle a little bit before you make up your mind, okay? The moon indicates confusion overall. So it's not, if we're making decisions when we are confused, it's just not a good place to be. So just wait for the dust to settle a little bit, okay? Now, 7th house looks very good. The 7th house deals with relationships and business partnerships as well. So relationships in love, in romance, and also in business. First of all, in romance, we do have here the Knight of Cups. This is somebody coming through to offer a gift of love, okay? They are offering themselves, and it's shown up in the upright position, which indicates to me sincerity. It also indicates to me a very, very good energy for somebody who is genuine and who has a good heart. I do feel reconciliation as well coming through for some of you, and I do feel an energy where you are giving yourself to another person. You are offering yourself to another person, either making a gesture to show somebody that you're interested, or to or them to you. What I feel is this. I'm sensing that, for some of you, you're going to get some answers that you need from the past in order for you to just forget about it and just move forward. And what I'm also feeling with this card here is once you are able to move forward, there will be new suitors coming through. I do sense a lot of you might be dealing with another water sign, so a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. But because you're also a water sign, with you showing up in this position, I feel that, it could just be a person. It doesn't matter the sign. They are making their feelings known, and they are giving you some type of, I want to say, an offer of love, friendship, and at least, dating. Okay, so there is a very, very good, prospective, like a person that is a very good prospect for dating. And that's going to be made known to you sometime this month. Eighth house deals with joint finances. We do have the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. And in the straightforward manner, this card is usually indicative of some type of a broken home. Divorce situation, people that were romantically involved together, they might have had lived in one space, and now things are over, and so people are either moving in, moving out. You're dividing your assets between people, and you are in a position where you're waiting on some assets to be divided up between you and another person. This is a card that also indicates to me generational wealth. There might have been some type of dispute regarding, as it pertains to inheritances, divided up between siblings, and there might be some type of internal resentment. For example, somebody is getting a specific share, somebody's getting a house, somebody's getting a car, and I'm feeling like there is an overall sense of disagreement. It's not, I feel like, it can be quite serious for some and then very minor for others. So there's some type of generational wealth being divided up. And it creates a lot of confusion. It creates a lot of this concern about fairness, concern about justice overall as to how financial assets are being divided up, as well as inheritance is being divided up for some of you. The ninth house, the eighth house, there's more to be said about that, but I feel just for the sake of this reading, just some of the things that you want to be careful about. I feel like this situation might drag on past January, okay? So we're going to look into the other months later on throughout the year to see how it comes up and to see whether or not it's going to get resolved. So the ninth house basically deals with your higher education, travel, and we're talking about long-term travel and philosophical outlook. As it pertains to your education, higher education, for example, for those of you who are still in school, and for those of you who are, students, passing through exams, doing your thesis, doing your dissertations, for example, this is a very, very strong warning here to not rest on your laurels, okay? Because if you are especially in a school environment, you're going to be forced to be a researcher. You're going to be forced to communicate your ideas in a very clear, concise, and succinct manner. And you're also going to need to know what you're talking about. So that means having ample evidence to back things up. On top of that, as a student, this is a card about research here. So it basically tells you that don't trust the things that are being published. You need to form your own ideas, and you need to defend your ideas when they are either questioned, when you are other people are questioning you. So it's a card about not taking things for granted, not taking knowledge as as gospel. It's really important to do a little bit of digging so that we can unearth answers for ourselves, so that we can figure out how things work, and we can also have evidence to back up our claims, okay? As it pertains to travel, I feel like a lot of you might have friends that are soliciting you, either friends or even, romantic partners that are soliciting you for travel opportunities. And you might feel a little bit of a financial crunch, like a financial lack coming through for 2017, especially in January, where you are going to have to delay some travels, mainly because you want to sort out your financial situation. You're trying to figure out how much money you have in excess so that you can, plan out whether or not you have sufficient funds to travel. So I feel that travel is going to be a little bit restricted. So rather than taking a long vacation, you might opt for a shorter vacation. You might opt for, fewer days, mainly because you might not have the resources right now in January. I feel that it might come through for you later on, but as of January, you're not thinking about this, and you are thinking more about, practical terms, whether or not you have the financial resources in order to do that. In terms of your philosophy, I feel that some of you, I'm sensing here, this is a card about, mother figures. This is a card about motherhood. This is a card about femininity and, overall sense of attractiveness. You might be dealing with people in your environment, for example, that might not have gone through, they might not have had the credentials. They might not have had the higher education, but they are in a position of authority. And so a lot of you are either thinking about school, thinking about returning to school in order to increase your financial earnings, or even increase your prospects as it comes to, the labor market. So you're thinking about either returning to school or upgrading your skills in some way. But I do feel like, there might be some financial restrictions that might not allow you to do that. Okay? I'm feeling as well, especially for women who are watching this, and I do sense like overall, there is something here, and this is going to apply to just a few people, but it's coming out quite strongly. I feel like if you grew up in an environment where, especially your mother, might not have, she due to whatever reason, maybe, rough times, maybe just life choice, or maybe for whatever reason, I feel that, your own parents might not have had the educational attainment. And so you come into this month, you need a mentor, especially for those of you who are a little bit younger. You're trying to go to school. You're trying to stay in school, and you see the value of school because everybody tells you that it's important. But I feel like it's really difficult for you to know how to realistically get there, how to achieve that bachelor's degree, how to achieve, how to get through grad school, how to do something that you're supposed to do in order to attain a higher level of education. And I feel that you might not have the adequate guidance in your home environment, the proper inspiration, the proper emotional support even to get you to that point. And so they're telling you to work through it, and that is why it's really important for you to figure out, know who you are about first, so that other people, whatever they input, it shouldn't affect you. So they're telling you to, be very, very strong, be very, very decisive, and then go from there. Take it one step at a time, okay? Don't overwhelm yourself. Don't inundate yourself with too many being too hard on yourself, with as well as expectations, too high of expectations that are not realistically achievable. So take it one day at a time, and be careful about beating yourself too hard over not being able to get something, not being able to understand something as it relates to education, for example. The 10th house deals with career and your public image. It also deals with the father figure. So let me talk about your public image first. There might have been something that happened, I feel I feel November and December, where something in your work environment, this is your career, your work environment, there might have been some revelations that came about, and I feel like it relates to jealousy. Jealousy from other people in your environment, your work environment and your career environment. I feel that there might be some people that got to a position of authority and they don't know what they're doing. I feel like they are not really sure how to manage other people. They're not qualified almost to do the jobs, or they might be deemed incompetent, not competent enough to do a specific task. And I do sense this might have been made apparent during that Mercury retrograde period in December, and all of these things are coming to light. So both of these cards appear in the work sector, and they both have a very similar theme, in which a lot of unscrupulous activities, in which a lot of new informations came to light, so that you can understand what's going on with people and what's going on in your work environment. I do feel there's an element here of somebody that might not have the credentials to do a specific task, but they were tasked to take care of something very important, and they're not able to do it. And I feel that, then everyone has to pick up their slack. This card, I feel like it indicates envy coming through from other people to you for your achievements. and or envy from, the energy flows both ways. Envy from you to other people for their achievements, feeling almost as if they didn't deserve it, or they feel as if you didn't deserve it. So there's some type of like disharmony within the career sector going into January. If you are working in a client base, there might be, clients agitating, clients dealing, bringing a lot of like troublesome information coming through, and you're going to have to sort out fact from fiction. So that's why, once again, I feel a lot of uncertainty with you when you're dealing with other people. And so it's really important for you not to be easily persuaded by other people. Do a lot more fact checking, double check your results, and trust what you see rather than the hearsay. Okay, that's always a good rule of thumb in life. But I feel, especially as it pertains to career and work, it's really important to do that. What I'm also feeling as it pertains to your public image overall with the Seven of Swords, this is a card about karma. It's a number 7, and whatever is done that is not supposed to, it's going to be revealed in the end. So be very, very careful about sneaky deals, under the table deals. Be very, very careful as it pertains to your public image. Saying things and having the things you say get taken out of context. So be very, very careful about, portraying the truth. And if you don't know something, just make sure that you say that, disclose that up front. Go home and do the research so that you're not stumped the second time that same topic comes up, okay? So I feel that it is a really important month as it deals with communication, how you communicate, the things that you say, and whether or not the things that come out are fact or fiction. So there's a lot of like things being made, like you being made aware of whether or not something is truthful or something is a lie, all right? 11th house deals with friendships and group associations. We have the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is usually waiting for opportunities to come through. A lot of you might be living at a distance from your friends, your social network, for example. And I do feel there is communication of people coming either to see you or you coming to see somebody else. So I do see some voyage being planned, some small trips being planned, or at least, waiting on communications from friends and things like that. In terms of group associations overall, I'm not going to go too heavily into this, mainly because with the Three of Wands, I do feel it's a card about wanting to branch out. It's a card about wanting to connect with people who are philosophically more like-minded to yourself. And I do sense that if you're searching for that, if you're searching for people who are more like you, who can really complement you on the emotional level when it comes to, friendships, reciprocity, and, just people who are like-minded, I do feel that it's going to be made available for you this month. And especially, this is a card of telling you to branch out. Don't stay stuck in a rut, but like branch out and do something different, okay? Join a gym, do some type of creative activities such as, book club. I do sense book club. Book clubs, group associations for those of you who are in school. Doing something like that will bring like-minded people your way so that you can form friendships and network with them as well. Professional contacts are going to be very, very good for you, okay? I feel like they might already be in your same industry, so it's easy for you to just hit it off with. Professional contacts is going to be where you start to open up and you're going to meet a lot more like-minded people, okay? 12th house generally deals with, this is like a card of, this is a house of institutions and secrets. So the way that I interpret this house for this reading is things in your environment that you might not be aware of, okay? So the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse is a card about timing. So I feel that whatever you're waiting on as it pertains to your career, they're saying pretty much that the timing is not now to do any type of a career change. Whatever recently has really upset you as it pertains to like secrets coming out or truths coming out in your work sector, I do feel that they're saying, don't let this one thing be like the end all. Like, don't let this be the deal breaker. When it comes to your work environment. If you have been very, very dissatisfied for quite some time, definitely, go look for other work. And do creative projects as well to supplement your income if you need to. If you absolutely cannot stand the work environment, then by all means leave it and find something else, or find something else and then leave it. But they're telling you that right now things are still being unearthed, okay? And it's also still Mercury retrograde shadow period going into the beginning of January. So it's not a time yet to form our opinion. There will be more information coming out for you. So the best thing to do here is to keep still and try to figure things out on your own. Don't trust whatever is happening in your environment. It's really time to draw inwards and to, figure out things from your own perspective rather than being swayed or influenced by other people in your environment, okay? So that concludes your reading for this portion, and I'm going to go into your love reading. So let's see. I'm going to be using this deck. It's the Joie de Vivre deck by Paulina Cassidy. And the spread is going to be the same as the previous months, okay? So what is in store for Pisces for love and relationships? So actually, I forgot. So this is the card that show up in your romance and in the 7th house. So I'm going to use that as, overall guidance for you and see what we're dealing with. What's going on for Pisces for love, romance, and relationships for January 2017? I'm going to try to leave this. It came out in the reverse, so let me try to do reversals for your reading and see what happens. So we have a lot of 7s, a lot of spiritual energy coming through in order to steer you in the right direction. It's a good time to, meditate. It's also a good month overall for you to draw back your energy. Do not let yourself be persuaded by other people. They're leading you down, giving you possibly confusing information, or they're not being very clear with, they might leave out information when they're trying to persuade you on a specific course of action. And I feel like your intuition is kicking in overdrive so that you can avoid certain people and avoid certain ways of thinking. Like if they're trying to persuade you, I feel like they might not have all the details, and they're giving you like bits and pieces to reaffirm your belief rather than giving you the whole story. So just be a little bit careful this month, Pisces. You've got some good cards, especially for those who are single. Okay, so let me talk about this energy first, because I feel like it's almost like, let me talk about this first. It almost reminds me of, that oracle card. I don't do oracle cards mainly because I like the traditional tarot. I jive with it very well, so I don't tend to do oracle cards. If you have been a viewer of mine for the past few years, I just don't do oracle cards. But I do watch them, and it reminds me of that oracle card, like it's safe for you to love. This is kind of like, make your feelings known, make the effort, and I feel like you don't have anything to fear. You're in good hands, so go ahead and make that romantic gesture. That's what it feels like to me. And I feel that, the knight is not somebody who's naive. He's got armor on, so I feel that you've been through quite a few disappointments in the past when it pertains to your love relationship. And I feel that you're skeptical. You don't wear your heart on your sleeves, but I feel that it is a really good month for you overall to make that gesture, to make the effort, and to like let your guard down a little bit, and at least to let the other person know that you are interested in them. So this is might be confirmation or advice for some of you who are thinking like, should I let that person know that I like them? There's no harm in it. You know, you only live once, so it's really important to let your feelings be known. And I feel like a lot of you might come into this month, you know, with this full suit of armor on, mainly because of this past situation. So in the past, we have the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is like the big, big love. It's like the relationship where you might have thought you found the one, and vice versa, the other person might have thought they found the one. When it shows up in the reverse position, it basically means lack of compatibility. It's sort of like falling head over heels in love with somebody before you get to know them really well, and before you get to know them that they might not be the appropriate person for you, or they might not be somebody who's good for you, okay? It's also linked up here with the Seven of Coins. And the Seven of Coins is a situation where two people are working at cross purposes with one another. Two people wanting to build a relationship together. But when it shows up in the reverse, they don't have all the practical details laid out. So for example, you might be really enamored with someone, like very smitten by somebody, and they might not want a relationship. And you know, that obviously was not going to lead to anything stable. And then likewise, they might not be financially stable to the point where they can be relied upon, they can be trusted, or even they can be a viable partner for you. Money isn't everything. But when it comes to the Seven of Coins, and it's the number 7, it's basically, you know, spiritual lessons that are coming through. Build solid foundations with somebody who wants to build it with you. So don't project your ideals onto a relationship partner. Just make sure that they are on board with the same things that you are. I feel that a lot of the times, and I get this a lot with this energy. This is a very, very like idealistic type of person. You know, they're it's like the hopeless romantic. They want love, they want security, they want relationships. And I feel like this is somebody that, you know, has a lot of love to give. And I feel that this, as your energy, you might be very idealistic in the past when it pertains to like love relationships, where despite all the red flags, despite all the odds that are against you, you're just like, we love each other. It's going to work out. It is a little bit idealistic, and they're pretty much telling you that, you know, I feel like a lot of you might have been left very disappointed as a result of this, okay? And so you have come from something like this in the past, some of you, and you're moving forward into this month, and you're ready to love again. You're ready to be swept off your feet, and you're ready to make your feelings known to another person. So whatever you were dealing with, I feel like some of you might have left a relationship and you're moving on. And then others of you might be in a relationship where you're just like, I don't see like how this is going to be brought into the future, because it's not going the direction that I want. The love is dwindling down, as well as the commitment to one another, okay? Which brings us to the present situation. We do have here the Hangman, as well as the Page of Swords. The Hangman is a situation where things are just kind of like being strung along, like things are just like moving forward without a sense of direction. It's not the most pleasant experience when you have to like wait on the decision of another person, and it's not the most pleasant experience when you're not really sure about a direction of a relationship. So I feel like you might be still dealing with this, and you're trying to figure out like, what do I do? Do I just cut it loose, cut that relationship, end it, move on with my life, or do I try to fix it? The Page of Swords coming through in your present situation deals with an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This is somebody who is, I feel like they're very intelligent, generally truthful, but I feel like they're bringing you biased information, okay? So you might be dealing with an air sign right now, and you feel almost as if they're not cooperating with you for whatever reason. The way this person comes across, I feel like mischief, like somebody who is mischievous, somebody who's fiercely independent, so they don't really know how to work well with another person, as a partner. So I do feel they have a lot of learning to do as it pertains to like compromise, as it pertains to like sacrifice, as it pertains to like how to be a good relationship partner. With this card coming through, the advice here is for you to as well cut yourself loose. If you're in this situation and the love is gone and the two people are like barely talking, obviously it's not good to stay in it. Okay, so cut yourself loose and open up some type of channel of communication so that you can both decide how to move ahead with or without each other. So I feel like something is dragging on long enough. It's time to figure out, end it or stay in it, continue to stay in it. And I feel like many of you have recently ended a relationship. If not, you're thinking about it heavily and you're just like, I'm not really happy in it anymore and I think I'm going to end it. Crowning this reading is something that you are thinking about. We have the Ace of Wands as well as the Eight of Cups. We do have, with the Ace of Wands, this is a burst of new passion, new energy. This is something that is bringing you a lot of excitement, a lot of like just passion overall. Somebody in your environment is stirring up your passion, and I feel like for a lot of you, there's a new person stirring up excitement. And so you're re-examining your current relationship and you're figuring out that it's not, meeting the criteria that you're hoping for. It's not bringing you that sense of love and excitement once again. A lot of you might be realizing that, okay, so that's what's missing in the relationship. So let me go back and fix it. And I feel that if you approach it with a fresh pair of eyes, with like, the mindset of like wanting to problem solve, wanting to like really fix at things and figuring out what the root causes are, I do sense you're going to have success in that manner to re-inject, revitalize the relationship. And then others of you, I feel that you're going to go ahead with a new offer to make your feelings known to the new person because there's a lot of chemistry and a lot of passion associated here with the Ace of Wands. The foundation is something in your environment that is already happening, something that you already know to be true. We have here the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups, this is a heavy energy for a water sign. A Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. I do feel a lot of you are like... you're encountering new people. You have a lot of suitors in your environment. You might be dealing with another water sign, a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, Sun, Moon, or Rising as well. So I do feel that there is temptation. There is offers coming through. Even if you're coupled up, I do see there's some temptation. There's like a new excitement. There's somebody sparking your passion. And for those of you who are single, there's offer for friendship. And I feel that the offer needs to be reciprocated is what they're saying, like offer for going out, having a good time, and there's an offer, somebody with genuine feelings for you. And so they're telling you that, they've already reached out, so it's important for you to reach back. Okay, so they're reaching out to you and it's important for you to reach back. Do not re-engage with this situation from the past. I feel like a lot of you might be tempted to. This is a situation that is like, it's kind of like a dead end. Two people are working across purposes with one another and they don't have the same goals. They don't have the same mentality when it comes to relationship, as well as the Ace of Cups reverse, which basically means that on a spiritual, on an energetic level, you're not going to be compatible with one another. So it's fun, it's exciting, but it's not going to be long-term and sustainable for you. So re-engaging with that, I don't feel it's going to pan out the way that you'd hope. We also have the Four of Coins in the reverse position. This is a card about release, okay? Releasing exes, releasing past energies, releasing past relationship patterns as well that are where you jump head in, where you idealize the relationship and you project qualities onto a partner. And in reality, they don't meet those qualities. They don't have those qualities. So being a little bit too starry-eyed at the very beginning of a relationship and planning so far in advance, like thinking this is the one, putting all your eggs in one basket. And then after you get to know the person, you might realize they're not appropriate for you. But by then you have already fallen, head over heels in love with them. So being a little bit more careful. So releasing old relationship patterns, releasing control issues, or even controlling people from your past, okay? I do feel like based on the previous months that I've done readings for you guys, there were a lot of people dealing with controlling exes. Okay, so I hope you're able to move on from this, and I hope that you break that cycle coming through for this year. Okay, so it's not all people, but the energy was quite heavy. So I feel that this is kind of like the breakthrough month where you let go of those unhealthy relationship partners, okay, and those unhealthy expectations and the unhealthy patterns when it comes to toxic relationships. So just let them go. With the Four of Coins as well, this is a card about, letting our guard down, making our feelings known, being expressive verbally and otherwise with our feelings and our emotions. So overall, it looks good in that manner, and it's reaffirming the same thing, that you should let your feelings be known. The other person, it seems like somebody's reaching out to you, and for whatever reason, I feel like you're still hung up on the past. And I feel like you're not looking in the right direction as well. So somebody's making their efforts, they're putting in the effort to either court you or to offer you a gesture of love, affection, friendship. And I do sense that it's really important for you. Let your guard down, let your pride down as well, and to reciprocate and to make your feelings known to that person. Okay, so it's safe. Like, you're in a really good environment right now. What's coming through next here? We have the Seven of Wands, and this is a card that indicates you don't really have, anything to prove. You don't really have anything to fight for. You don't really have conflict in this new interaction. It's going to be very harmonious and very smooth. There will be a lot of consistent information and communication coming through with the new people that you're dating and interacting with. And as a result of that, I feel that it's really important for you to take a more lighthearted approach. Date a few people and see who's the best fit for you. Get to know them a little bit more before you jump to conclusions about how you feel about them. That would be ideal. Okay, so especially for those of you who are single, we do have offers. This is the Arrows of Love. This is the Eight of Wands here, and this is like swift communication. And I do see a lot of electronic communication for many of you, emails, text messages especially. So you're in a very good space where you can branch out, explore, and letting your feelings be known by to other people. I feel that a lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign specifically. Fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, and Leo. Yeah, Sagittarius, Aries, Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, that really sparks your passion. In terms of compatibility, I do see a water sign. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, like another Pisces like yourself, or a Cancer or Scorpio that you have a lot of compatibility with. And I feel like they came from the same type of bad relationships too. They've left it behind. They're approaching life in a new positive mentality, and I feel like there could be a lot of healing and a big bonding experience for many of you. If you are dealing with an air sign, there's waiting on communication. There's waiting. I feel like they're saying waiting for them to decide, waiting for them to grow up and make up their mind. So there's that frustrating energy. Okay, so this month looks very, very good for singles, for the people who are either seeing somebody, thinking about whether or not to leave the relationship behind. I do see that there's going to be communication breakthrough, but I do sense for many of you, you're reassessing a major relationship in your life, and you're trying to see if it's worth continuing on. Okay, and some of you, I feel like you're going to be leaving that behind altogether. All right, so I feel either way, there's going to be a lot of clarity coming through with relationships for this month. It's very harmonious, and it's overall very, very positive. Okay, so I do wish you the best, Pisces. If you like a private reading, please visit my website in the description box below, where you can view my availability for the upcoming year. And if you'd like to donate to my channel as well, the link is below, and any types of donation is greatly appreciated. I do wish you all a very, very happy, prosperous 2017. Take care of yourself, Pisces. Bye-bye.